When you're young, when you're restless, when you're fun, cause you're desperate. Oh, here they come for a chance, for adventure. What's your poison? What's your pleasure? Oh.
What's the story, NXT fans? Tonight's topics on the Wrestle Story are the Dusty Rhodes Classic first round matches.
The original bro challenges the Dream.
And the new call-ups are headed for a collision course in the Dusty Rhodes Classic.
All that and more on tonight's NXT recap.
Welcome back to the show, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legend of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view. Make sure you subscribe and click that little button that has a bell.
The button bell. We do this every single time.
Yes,
the button bell.
The button bell. Then you know when we are here.
Yeah. Also, during the week, sometimes, depending on what's happening in the world of wrestling, we will do extra streams, you know, if there are releases and certain things like that. And then also, I don't remember if you mentioned this, but with pay-per-views, we do preview prediction streams.
Yes.
Normally the Friday or Saturday. We will be on Friday to talk about Fastlane, which is this Sunday. Super excited for it. But tonight, we are talking all about NXT and the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic first round matches that happened tonight. This is like the most wrestling I've seen on NXT ever.
Yeah, they had quite a few matches. There wasn't a lot of downtime in between.
Not a whole bunch of promos or anything?
No, and I thought it was fairly decent.
Or backstage videos.
Yeah, it was a pretty decent card, pretty decent show.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So we start off the show with another King Kong Bundy remembrance picture. Unfortunately, he passed away on Monday, and so they showed one of those. And then they got right into the show, and they showed the Dusty Rhodes bracket and the teams. So we have Moustache Mountain and the Street Profits. We have DIY and Undisputed Era. Aleister Black and Ricochet, and Fabian and Marcel. And then we have Oney, Lorcan, and Daddy Burch versus Forgotten Sons. So those are all the matches that we have seen this evening. And we know who is moving on to the second round to then battle for the finals position. I would say I'm pretty happy, for the most part, with the outcome of all the matches. 90% of them went the way I thought they were going to. So with that being said, we'll just go right into the first match, which was Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Barthel and Aichner. Ricochet and Black did end up getting the win. This is what I predicted. You did too, I believe.
Yeah, I figured since they were moving them up to the main roster, I felt that they would win this.
Yeah. Now going forward, I don't see them winning the whole thing, especially with who they're paired up against next.
Well, I don't think they can win the whole thing since they are being moved up to the main roster.
And it's already been said that Aleister Black has already made his, final goodbyes type thing. He put a post on Instagram talking about, NXT has done a lot for him, but now it's time for him to move on and go to bigger and better things. And so we know he's not going to win it, and he's not going to go for the championships. I mean, he could, but it's very unlikely with that situation.
Well, and that's the bad thing about, these NXT matches, if you've checked the internet, they've been out there, these have all been done. This is pre-taped. We decided that we would not watch or try and anything where we saw that there was going to be a spoiler. We decided not to even look at it just so we could come in and talk about it here.
Yes.
We still, we have our opinions on what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to win the tournament. I don't know who's going to be in the finals. But we decided to just stay away from all that so we could hopefully have a decent show here for you.
Yeah. And I think it ends up turning out for the better because then we're kind of surprised and we're, like, whoa, we didn't see that happening or whatever,
Yeah, I think it
makes it more of a surprise.
Yeah, I wish the WWE overall would just not do these types of things.
I think especially with NXT. I mean, NXT is the only one that they tape beforehand. So why? I mean, why? Why not do it live in person?
Yeah, it seems like you do it live and in person, you'd get more out of it than you do doing it this way.
Yeah. I mean, I guess for the reason of there aren't tons of commercials in between NXT, because it's not on a TV show first, or it's not on a TV network first of all, so that kind of plays into it. But then also, like, they're able to cut it up and take out the parts of it where the wrestlers are like walking back up the ramp and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they have time to like go through and edit it and take out what they don't want in there and put in what they do want. And the other thing that makes it more difficult is like with these whole spoilers and stuff is like they've filmed it two different ways. They did that with the North American Championship match with Johnny Gargano and Velveteen Dream last week.
Yeah.
Where they filmed it two different times, one where Gargano retained the title and one where Dream won the title. So then people didn't know, but why even do that in the first place? Why not just do it live and then nobody has to worry about that?
Yeah, definitely.
Because, in both situations, one or the other is going to happen because they've filmed both.
Well, and then they kind of give things away, and it's something I wish they wouldn't do because then everybody knows what's going on. They don't get as many people to watch.
Yeah.
And WWE Network probably doesn't get a lot of people to watch NXT anyway, so
exactly.
Filming early probably doesn't help them out.
Yeah, not really. So Ricochet and Black get the win. They move on to the second round match. Next we have a Dominik Dijakovic promo video from the Performance Center, and they kind of did like a flashback thing to last week with the Keith Lee match. I definitely think that this rivalry is far from being over.
Well, they're definitely building this. This is
definitely,
it
might be building up to TakeOver. So then they have a big match at TakeOver that kind of just lets all the steam off of it, and they have somebody get the win. Because last week when they had their match, they did not. There wasn't a declared winner because they both got counted out at the same time. So definitely, I feel that they're gonna build this up a lot. I actually really like Keith Lee. I like his character. I think it's really cool. Dominik Dijakovic, I think he does a really good job in the ring too. He's like 6'7" or something like that, so he's insanely tall. He's like a really big dude. And so, I think both of them bring something different to the table, and it's something that fans want to see how it plays out. The big man versus the big man,
Well, and I think one thing that's going to happen, I think this is going to lead to one of these guys getting a title. Because I think what eventually is going to happen, the Velveteen Dream is going to move up, and now that I'll throw a spoiler out there that, for the people that don't know, Ciampa is hurt, and is going to be out for, what'd they say, 6 to 14 months?
6 to 14 months. Anywhere between 6 and 14 months, which is like a long flipping time. So he is going to relinquish his title. When they do that, who knows? It's been said that his surgery is supposed to happen tomorrow. He's supposed to have surgery on his neck tomorrow, and then after that, after it's done, it will determine how long he's going to be out for, depending on what they have to do with the surgery. And I mean, with your neck, you don't play around with that, you know?
No.
So it's important
guess
that he gets completely healthy and doesn't rush this, so then he can be back in the ring and be back to what he was before.
Well, I'm going to guess he relinquishes his title. Either he's already done it on its film, something taped, or he'll do it at TakeOver and just hand it over then.
I don't think they would wait until TakeOver, because I think they'd probably lead up to the match being at TakeOver where they crown a new champion. My thoughts are they're going to give the championship to Adam Cole.
Well, they could do it at TakeOver and then have a match where, you know, whoever they decide to pick.
They could almost have a tournament, so to speak.
Yeah.
Like what they're doing with the Dusty Rhodes Classic, and have it, you know, all right, these are our top guys. Give them a shot at the title. You know, they've wanted shots. Well, here they go. This is what we're going to give them, because Ciampa can't defend his title because he's injured. And so, hi, Bendy.
Hey, Bendy.
How are you? So, you know, I see that they're leading up to that. And if they don't go through with Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes, if they don't have him go for the North American Championship, maybe he gets put into the deciding matches for the NXT Championship.
Yeah.
And then you have, maybe it comes down to Adam Cole and Matt Riddle. I mean, that would be really cool.
Well, and obviously these were filmed before
Ciampa's
injury
was hurt bad enough that he wasn't able to wrestle.
Yeah, because I know he said that he wanted to try and
he was going to try and work through it until after TakeOver.
Yeah.
So obviously it didn't go that way, and I don't know, like you said, we don't know how many weeks in advance they filmed this, so we are left kind of hanging. I knew going into this that we weren't going to see anything from him talking about relinquishing his championship because they are pre-filmed. So, I mean, maybe next week, maybe the week after that. I think it'd be smarter if they did it as soon as they possibly can, so then they can get somebody into that NXT championship spot in place of him, because it's, I mean, you know, not that he's going to turn into Brock Lesnar and he's just going to disappear with the championship, but it's like that Brock Lesnar type of scenario where Lesnar's said champion, but he's never there to defend it, you know? Yeah. And it would be doing the same thing with Ciampa. So, to me personally, I'd much rather get the title off the guy, so then he doesn't have heat coming towards him. Hey, you know, I get it, you're injured, but you're still the champion, and we're not seeing anything done with this.
Well, because they don't know how long he's going to be gone, I think
they will 100% relinquish the title. They've done that with any other guy that has been injured and will be out for several months.
Yes.
So, I'm just waiting to see what they do with that.
So then we have the Forgotten Sons versus Lorcan and Burch.
Again, this was another match to determine tag team classic stuff. We have I believe I picked Forgotten Sons going into this to win.
Yeah, I think we both picked Forgotten Sons to win this match, and another decent match. It was solid.
It was. I think their tag team divisions are a lot better than the ones they have on the main roster.
Well, you got more teams. I mean, there's actually, although Ricochet and Aleister Black really haven't been a team.
I mean, they're just kind of thrown together, but they're similar styles, so that's why they threw them together.
So, you know, I do think that there seem to be more legitimate tag teams that are seen as tag teams in NXT right now than there are.
They even brought in somebody from NXT UK. They brought in Moustache Mountain, and they brought them in from NXT UK to then join this tournament to go for the NXT tag team titles.
Yeah, I mean, it's, again, we've talked about this, having just, you know, have a set of champions that goes across all brands.
See, I mean, to do a tag team thing, if you were going to do this up on the main roster, you have to bring in some of these guys down from NXT, some of the tag teams down from NXT to do it on the main roster, if you wanted to do it that way.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they do have some decent tag team. You know, they have the Hardy Boys, they have the Usos, they have, you know, guys like that. Where you could do this type of tournament to determine who's going to go for the championships. Whoever the current tag team champions might be, you have a tournament to determine who's going to go for them. And I mean, I think it would be cool to see some of the main roster guys included, so why not just do it on the main roster then, and then have the NXT guys come up to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So I mean that. Otherwise, I think this is a really cool type of tournament to see, and I mean it's in honor of Dusty Rhodes, and he helped a lot with NXT and the Performance Center and stuff like that. So I mean, I get why they're doing it down there, but I definitely think at some point in time it would be really cool to see kind of all the brands meshed together, like we've talked about before, and do this tournament up there, and then include more teams. To then.
I think it'd make it more interesting. I mean, I think it just, you know, because there aren't a lot of tag teams up on the main roster, so I think having, you know, using all legitimate tag teams, not just throwing guys together, have legitimate tag teams compete in the tournament, and, you know, Dusty Rhodes is a legend, so have them all compete in it, and, you know, have one title, tag team title between all brands, and everybody goes for the title.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it'd be really cool. So Forgotten Sons did end up winning this match. I thought there was going to be something where the one that was on the outside of the ring was going to get involved, but they didn't. They just won the match on their own as the two guys going forward in the tag team match. So again, really good match. Then we go to Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle promo. So Velveteen Dream comes out and he talks about how, like, you know, I'm the new champion, and I'm not going to do a speech. This is just me coming out here telling you like it is. The crowd was chanting, speech, speech, speech. So he keeps talking about, you know, his title and stuff, and then Matt Riddle comes out and he says, I really just wanted to come out and say hi, and congratulations, but actually I want to get a closer look at that title. I'd like to have a shot at that. And he kept calling him, Matt Riddle kept calling Dream bro. And Velveteen Dream then goes, first off, I am not your bro. I don't know what you're thinking. I'm not your bro. So knock that off right now. And then he talks about the spotlight being on him, and it's his moment right now. And then he says, dream over. And then when he had the spotlight put on him, everything goes dark, and then Matt Riddle just, like, disappears. And we don't even know where Matt Riddle went.
Well, you know, both these guys are... I wasn't a huge Matt Riddle fan when I first started watching him. And the more I've seen him, the more I've seen his promos, I'm starting to like him more and more as I watch him more.
I know my 1-year-old baby brother likes him.
Yeah, because every time...
I know that for certain. His music comes on and it goes, whoa, and he comes out and he's like, cool, this is a bop.
Yeah.
I like this song. I can dance to it. It's actually really funny. So he's got a fan, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Somewhere. But yeah, I agree. I thought going into it, Matt Riddle's gimmick was really goofy, and I was like, dude, if he's trying to be the serious, like, fighter dude who just came from another company, like, he's just goofy, man. And so I have warmed up to him. I like his character more. I like the bro thing. The original bro. I said this just a little bit ago. I said the original bro versus the broski, Zack Ryder. Now, wouldn't that be something? Yeah. Bro versus bro.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of cool to see.
Definitely.
Even though Zack Ryder isn't a super great wrestler, you know.
Well,
it's just the gimmicks.
Well,
you know.
This is where, you know, Matt Riddle is starting to... You know, like I said, at first I didn't like him, and now he's kind of growing on me, and he's carrying his character and making him look really good.
Yeah. Bendy, do we even have to ask who I would pick?
Let me guess. Aleister Black and Ricochet? That's my guess.
Yeah.
That's who you would say.
I'm going to say you're probably going to say that because you like them. After seeing them on the main roster, their entrances are really cool. But I just don't see them winning because they're going to move them up to the main roster.
I don't see them winning either.
And so, I mean, they were announced to be in this tournament, but then they were like, hey, you know, we're going to go a different direction, and you're going to go up on the main roster, which is even better. Woohoo! So, you know, just that the broski versus the original bro. I think it would be ding ding ding. I think it would just be cool, and just like the gimmicks, and you have Zack Ryder come out and get on the mic and be like, excuse me, you're the original bro? I'm the original bro. Like, what are you talking about? I think it would just be a really cool promo.
Wouldn't that be a good way to say goodbye? Yeah, but then you got to figure out who's going to wrestle for the titles. If you do it
that's
that
the
way.
only issue is I don't see WWE taking the NXT championships up to the main roster.
No.
I've used this as an example before. The Sasha Banks, when they brought Sasha, Becky, and Charlotte up, they... Wow, too many S's. I can't speak. Excuse me. When they brought Sasha up, she was still the NXT Women's Champion. I don't even know. It was just a couple weeks later. They had the NXT Brooklyn stuff, and she lost her championship to Bayley. So she didn't even have the championship very long up on the main roster because they were going to keep her up there. So why would they do that? Why would they bring the tag team championships up?
They're not.
With Aleister Black and Ricochet.
They won't, and that's I don't think they will at all. I think that they will have them. They're going to get beat somewhere along this tournament.
I personally think it's going to be in the second round because I don't see. Spoiler: DIY made it through. I don't see DIY not going to at least the semifinals.
Well, it's. Again, they had DIY up on the main roster too, so who stays, who doesn't, I don't know.
Well, I mean, with Ciampa's injury now, we know Ciampa's not going up, and I said this in earlier when I was talking to you. I said there's been a lot of speculation with this Ciampa injury stuff coming out as to whether or not they're actually going to bring Gargano up to the main roster and keep him there right now, because people are like, well, it looks as if their original intention was to bring them up as a tag team and have them work in the tag team division and not singles competitors at this moment in time. Maybe what they're doing because Ciampa is injured, maybe that's why they put Ricochet and Aleister Black together, was to have them go into the tag team division in place of them because Ciampa is injured and he can't wrestle. So then they're kind of just filling that void right now until they're getting ready to split them up after the Tag Team Classic so they can go on and do their own things.
Well, Aleister Black and Ricochet need to split up. I mean, because their entrances don't even mix. They're really good as singles. Not that they can't be tag team wrestlers, but they're, in my opinion, they're singles wrestlers, and they should just have them come up and be as singles matches.
I 100% agree. Bendy says, that depends on how far ahead they tape this stuff. I mean, yeah, it does, but NXT TakeOver is a live thing. And so with and I mean, maybe, going back just a minute, maybe they did tape stuff, but then Ciampa got hurt, and then they're just going to scrap everything that they already had down and retape it and say, all right, next week we're going to see Ciampa relinquish his title because we had to refilm this, and this is what happened, so now DIY can't go on I mean, you just don't know.
No, and that's something we'll have to wait and see what happens with this injury, and for as bad as it is, it's
well,
going to take some time to heal.
At least as bad as it's sounding, it doesn't look good.
No,
he's going to be out for a long time. It's inevitable.
Definitely.
So I mean, it's just a matter of what they do. So they do the Velveteen Dream and Matt Riddle promo, and he essentially just talks about wanting to go for the North American Championship, which we touched on just a minute ago with the Adam Cole saying going for NXT Championship when Tomasso relinquishes it.
Yeah.
But Matt Riddle wants a shot at the North American Championship. So are they going to have Velveteen Dream lose his championship come NXT TakeOver, or maybe even sooner than that, and then they have him go up to the main roster because Ciampa can't?
It's possible. I mean, I don't know. This is where you're going to have to wait and see what happens. I thought they'd move Velveteen Dream up anyway.
I did too, but then he won the championship.
Well, he did, but I mean, you could have him lose it at TakeOver and then move him up.
Yeah. I mean, you could. So then we have an Io Shirai and Kairi Sane video from earlier in the day talking about Io Shirai getting her shot to get a chance to go for the NXT Women's Championship, which we will see a match next week between Bianca Belair and Io Shirai for the number 1 contender spot for Shayna Baszler's Women's Championship, which this match will take place at TakeOver.
Io Shirai is not winning. She's a tag team partner with Kairi Sane. They're not going to have her win an individual title.
Well, I find it kind of funny. I have thoughts on that. I think I've talked about them before in our previous ones. But with that being said, Kairi Sane in the interview was also there, and she was like, I'm really happy for Io, and she deserves this more than anybody else that I know, and it's her time to shine, and this, that, and the other thing. What if they have them turn on each other?
That's possible.
Because, I feel like Kairi Sane, it would definitely turn Kairi Sane into the heel character, which I personally wouldn't like to see that, because I like them together as a tag team. But it's another thought that, Io Shirai does win, and then she goes on to win the NXT Women's Championship at TakeOver, and then Kairi Sane says, hey, I was supporting you, but now I want a shot at your title, so let me at it.
Well, what if they split them up and Kairi Sane goes up to the main roster?
Potentially.
And tags, and have Asuka lose at WrestleMania.
I don't know what they're going to do with Asuka. I don't know what they're going to do with her come Sunday. So.
Well, then they get another tag team in that division, another women's tag team on the main show.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I've said this before, I said I would love to see Io Shirai and Kairi Sane get a shot at those women's tag titles, come Mania or somewhere along the lines of that. I think that would be really cool to see them go for them and maybe potentially win them, Because they have a lot of potential.
They do.
To be an amazing... they're already amazing in the ring.
Well, just the athleticism is... And this is why NXT is so good, because if you watch NXT, most of the wrestlers on NXT are pretty athletic in what they do. With the exception of the really big guys, and even some of them are
Heavy Machinery came from NXT, and he does Caterpillar, which is the worm. And then he, smashes his opponent. So, even that, he's a big dude. You don't see big guys like that doing that.
No, and that's what I said. With some of the moves they do, some of the stuff they do down on NXT, it's pretty amazing, even for the bigger guys.
So, yeah. Next week we have the Bianca Belair and Io Shirai thing.
Yes.
I'd agree. I'd say maybe they're going to have Bianca Belair win. I'd love to see Io Shirai get a shot, like I said, but
yeah.
I think Bianca Belair would make more sense if they're going to have Io Shirai and Kairi Sane do the tag team thing and go for the women's titles.
So then we have the Street Profits versus Moustache Mountain from NXT UK.
Yeah, Moustache Mountain is from NXT UK. I think it was really smart of them to bring them over and have them. It's Tyler Bate. He's one half of that tag team, and Tyler Bate is amazing. He's really good from the NXT UK.
Well, they got several from NXT UK. If you haven't ever seen NXT UK, there's several from NXT UK that are pretty good.
See, and I don't watch NXT UK religiously, but I know enough of the guys. I know enough of the superstars down there. You got Tyler Bate. You have Jordan Devlin. You have Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley, Pete.
Done.
Yeah, done. I can't think right now. You have so many guys down there in NXT UK that are really good. So I would like to see more people cross over from NXT UK. I would agree with that. I think it would make things more interesting, and you get different talent.
There is a show coming up. I don't remember if it's in March or April, where they're going to have some NXT UK coming over and wrestling the NXT wrestlers.
So they have the Superstar Shakeup coming up. Is there a possibility that we see them bring somebody up from NXT UK like Rhea Ripley? Or Tyler Bate? Do we see them do that?
I think it's a possibility. Here's what I think is going to happen.
I definitely think they should include NXT UK in this whole Superstar Shakeup. 100%.
Yeah.
If they include NXT, so include NXT UK, and then you can add more people to your roster,
Yeah. Well, are they working on at NXT in India?
I have no idea. There's been so much stuff surrounding, like, tryouts and stuff in India recently. I don't know.
So I was just curious as to maybe they're looking at starting something there in India.
Potentially.
And having another NXT or something like that. Especially if NXT goes up to like a main television show. Mm-hmm. They'll probably be looking for something to fill NXT UK's or just NXT's spot.
I mean, NXT UK is on at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Where we live.
But they'd be looking for something to fill the time that, having another show on the WWE Network that they could just strictly say, hey, this is on the WWE Network.
Yeah.
And for as much as they've really been promoting this stuff that's going on in India, I was wondering if maybe...
It's definitely a thought. I never thought of it before.
They're looking at possibly having... I don't know if they'll call it NXT or what they'll call it, but have some sort of a show out of India that is similar to like NXT UK and NXT here in the United States. Maybe.
That's always a possibility. It would definitely expand the brand quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, that's a thought. So, Street Profits versus Moustache Mountain. We start talking about NXT UK. I said Street Profits going into this match. I thought, honestly, with as much as they had been using them recently, we both said Street Profits.
Yeah, I definitely thought that.
I thought that Street Profits was maybe going to go and even win the whole... Well, this was, before DIY and stuff. But I said, Street Profits could go into this and say, hey, they've been given a lot of opportunities on TV recently. And so I thought maybe that they would give them a push and have them win. They still could have... never mind. They couldn't have them win because they lost.
They still could have them win sometime. Definitely.
I'm a ding-dong. Yeah, they could still have them win. Have them sneak back into the tournament and take DIY's spot. No. So Moustache Mountain did win. They are moving on in the tournament. Alex is a doof. Don't listen to what she says. Or, not Alex. Maven. I'm Maven. See, I'm still a doof. Anyways. So, Moustache Mountain got the win. And they're moving on in the tournament.
No, it's another good match.
It
solid.
Was. It was a solid match. I liked it. But like I said, I thought Street Profits was
overall the show was pretty good.
I thought it was really good because they had a lot of matches.
Yeah.
And, yeah. I thought it was really good.
Definitely a good show. So then we have DIY versus the Undisputed Era.
I was a little disappointed when I first saw the bracket for this. I was a little disappointed because Ricochet and Ricochet and Aleister Black. Oh my gosh. They had beef with Undisputed Era from 2 weeks ago. And so they were like, oh, we want to get a piece of them in the tournament, but then they're not even going to have a shot at facing each other at all because of the way they did the bracket. Identity crisis.
Definitely an identity crisis.
Oh, Bendy, yes. Identity crisis.
Well, I was hoping they'd split up DIY and Ricochet, but since they are moving... since they're moving Ricochet and Aleister Black up,
I guess it makes sense for them not to start something with Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
But it was like unfinished business. And so they wanted to, finish it out,
Well, I think,
and get the win over them to then, do whatever. Move on in the tournament,
Yeah.
So I was a little disappointed with that aspect of the bracket. But other than that, this is an amazing, amazing match. DIY back together. So they started off with Johnny Gargano's music played when he came out. And then they had Ciampa come out on his own and his music played. But then they were standing there at the end of the ramp and then they looked at each other and they looked back at the board and then DIY's music hit. And the crowd went nuts. Nuts. Absolutely nuts.
Well, and this is why I think that they could be successful as a tag team up on the main roster.
Yeah.
But they have to get them out there, and right now it's going to be, they can't do it
Difficult.
with Ciampa's injury, but they need to get them out there more than what they were,
Before.
so people know who they are. And this is where getting NXT out on a regular channel will help out if that's the plan. And then people know who they are, and then so when they do bring them up to the main roster or they do crossover matches, then everybody knows who they are. Makes things more interesting. Fans get into it right away with the excitement. I think watching Aleister Black and Ricochet over the last couple weeks, I think they've started to get a little more pop from fans, and because people are starting to know who they are and know what they do.
Yeah. So DIY ended up winning this match, and we will see DIY versus Ricochet and Aleister Black next week, I would assume.
In fact, let's just...
We'll look at them.
Maybe we won't.
Maybe we won't. We were going to put the bracket back up there so we can take a look at it
See.
real quick.
Okay.
So we have Aleister Black and Ricochet. They moved on in their match. And then we have DIY who moved on in their match. And Moustache Mountain and the Forgotten Sons. So next week we should see Forgotten Sons versus Moustache Mountain and DIY versus Aleister Black and Ricochet. I think they're going to have DIY move forward and then make it to the semifinals. Of the other two, I have no idea.
I think what they're probably going to do is have Moustache Mountain move up. Cause
Maybe
this
they'll
way,
have them win.
Well, and it's possible. I mean, but this way that you get to promote NXT UK. And if they win the titles, they get to take the titles back to the United Kingdom.
And then NXT doesn't even have any tag team championships anymore.
Well, it's something, it's the crossover thing. Now you start to have more of a crossover.
Well, then maybe they move them over to NXT.
But they've talked about doing crossover stuff soon. So you may start to see more of a crossover between NXT and NXT UK.
The thing I have to say about that is that'll make it more difficult for... They have the UK tag champs, and then they will have the NXT tag champs, both on the NXT UK show.
Okay.
So, that's a lot of tag champs.
Is it any different than what they do
No,
now?
I mean, it's no different than Raw and SmackDown, but they're on two separate shows.
I mean, they have 437 titles between Raw and SmackDown now, so
I
why
don't
does
know.
it matter where they're
I
at?
just think it'd be a little weird to have two of the exact same champs on the same show.
But if you're doing crossover stuff, then...
Yeah.
And they're not going to be the champions if they win this tournament. They get a shot at the title.
You're absolutely 100% right. I didn't take that into account. They do get a shot at the title at NXT TakeOver.
So...
And then they would face the War Raiders.
So I think possibly they could give Moustache Mountain the push to promote NXT UK, and then you've seen what that's about, and you have NXT, so you're getting a push there, and I don't know. I think that there's a possibility that could happen, especially now with knowing that you have the injury.
I don't
to
see DIY
Ciampa,
winning.
and then
They
you
could,
have.
but going into NXT TakeOver, it would make no sense if they would just have to give that up because Ciampa's not 100%. Unless they film this when... Here's the thought. They film this when Ciampa is good. Ciampa is now injured. He has to relinquish the title and says, "I'm so sorry, Johnny. I can't do this. I'm gonna undergo surgery, and I'm not able to be in the tag team tournament. I know we won this and we have our shot at the titles, but I hate to let you down, but I can't do this." And so then what if he's like, "So, I want you to pick a new partner to go in and win the match." And then who would they have go in as his partner?
Velveteen Dream. I don't know.
No.
I have no...
They wouldn't do that. Velveteen Dream is the one who... Johnny Gargano lost his championship to Velveteen Dream.
Okay.
So I don't think they'd do that, but they would... I mean, maybe something like that. They have someone come in and take his place. Take Ciampa's place.
I don't think you could have someone come in and take his place. There's no storyline there that could... I mean, you could throw someone in there, but I don't think there's a good storyline where you could just throw someone in there and put them together with Gargano and say, okay, here, this is going to be our tag team that's going to go wrestle, for the titles or for the right, I don't know.
Good one, Mr. Gleen.
I just don't know. Thanks. I don't see them doing it.
Again, it's just another thought as to what they could do.
I think they will replace them with somebody if they had DIY win this tournament.
And
I think they will replace
people
them.
Going in were like, okay, well, DIY was added to this tournament, so yeah, 100% they're going to win. They're going to go for the titles and they're going to win them.
But there was
Ciampa had his injury.
There was also rumors of Gargano and Ciampa fighting
at TakeOver. Which is like, so which was it going to be?
So maybe DIY wasn't going to be, maybe Ricochet and Aleister Black win.
I mean, maybe, and then that would be where they split up. I don't know, man. It's very odd.
Yes,
Weren't
definitely.
you just talking about throwing together tag teams?
I was just talking about throwing together tag teams. I don't like seeing just thrown together tag teams.
I get that, but it's just a thought of, well, what if they do win, and then Ciampa's like, I'm very sorry, I can't compete, I'm injured, so I want you to pick somebody else to go in my place. Then who would they pick?
Nobody. There's nobody there.
Johnny Gargano says, nope, it's you and me, or it's nothing. So somebody, I guess, take our place. It's not, I'd much rather do this with you than without you.
Yeah.
Maybe they pull a best friend thing.
They might.
Which is, that's another interesting way to go with it.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of unexpected, just due to the fact that they were, like, complete, utter rivals until last week. Or 3 weeks ago when they came on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
But again, it's just a thought. So then after that, we have the War Raiders. They come out after DIY gets the win, and they just hold their titles in the air at the top of the ramp when Gargano and Ciampa are in the ring. So, which then goes on to go, what?
When is the last time the War Raiders actually wrestled?
Probably when they won the championships.
That's been, what, a month?
A month? Maybe closer.
It's been forever.
Month and a half? It was back right before the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it's been a long time since they've actually wrestled.
I mean, we had the Royal Rumble, and then we had to get through Elimination Chamber, which was like 2 weeks there. And then we had, stuff building up to Fastlane, so that's another week, that's another week, that's another week. Going on almost over a month now.
Yeah, it's been quite a while since they've actually been on TV.
There was that 1 week they did come out, and they were like, oh, you all want a shot at our titles or whatever? Duke it out. Maybe you'll get a shot. And then, like didn't do anything.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Bendy. With the big we're better off together thing, I think that Gargano just saying, okay, I don't want to do this because we're not together, so we won't do it. Or I won't do it. And I won't do it with somebody else.
Well, and especially, I think it'd be such a twist, kind of. Just because they were so heated and, just Ciampa has to come out and relinquish his title is already hard enough. But then letting down Gargano when they were like, oh, well, we're going to go and be tag champs and we're going to be DIY again. And then to go and have to do this and give up his championship and then say, hey, I can't be in there. So, plus, remember, there's a storyline of his wife not being supportive of his solo career.
She was more supportive of his solo career than going with Gargano.
Yeah, she was supportive
Ciampa.
of the solo career. Not that she didn't like the tag team stuff because they.
She didn't like Ciampa.
Yeah, because of what happened before when they broke up the first time. So there's that. So, not having confidence, whatever you want to call it.
Definitely.
I think it all plays into it. Yeah, I mean, for sure. So, I'm just kind of curious to see where they go because everyone going in said DIY is going to win and they're going to go for the championships, but then Ciampa got injured.
Well, we said that, but then they started throwing him on Raw and SmackDown,
yeah.
And we thought maybe they're going to move him up.
No. They didn't even announce this until that same week. So they were on Raw and SmackDown, and then we're like, oh, the big announcement is going to be they're going to have a TV deal. And then, no, it's the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and we were like, wonk, wonk, wonk. That was kind of a letdown. But then they announced DIY being in the tournament, so people were like, okay, cool. Maybe they're going to go... they're going to go for the titles, and they're going to win it, and DIY is going to be back together, and it's going to be a happy story.
Well, and you also had Aleister Black come out and say that he thanked NXT and everything, so he's been moved to the main roster. So you know that Ricochet and Aleister Black are not going to win.
And Ricochet, what I don't understand is that first week that Ricochet was on there, you had Finn Balor backstage say, "Welcome to Raw, buddy." And so, like, cool. He's going to be on the main roster.
Yeah.
And
So,
then you
I
had
mean-
Aleister Black make his formal thing on Instagram saying, "I'm super thankful for NXT, and it's done so much for me." And so that's like his goodbye. And so both of them are going to move up. So what are you left with down in NXT?
So your options are you're either going to have Moustache Mountain or...
DIY wins, and then they have to relinquish it.
Well, DIY, they can't win.
They could,
We've already talked about
hypothetically, they could win the tournament.
Oh, they could win the tournament, yes.
Not the titles, the tournament.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
here. They could win the tournament, depending on how far back they pre-filmed this to.
Yeah.
Because then they could go with the whole Ciampa has to relinquish his stuff, and then he says, "I'm super sorry, you're not going to have a tag team
So
partner."
then who would they replace him with at...
I don't know.
I would almost think you have to do the Moustache Mountain, or who was the other team that's on the other side? Can't think off the top of the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah.
So I would almost say you have to do one of those two, and those are going to be the ones that are going to battle for the title.
Moustache Mountain would make more sense than Forgotten Sons.
Well, and I think that...
Because I feel like they're not giving Forgotten Sons enough of a push at this moment in time to be champions.
No.
I would have so loved to see Undisputed Era in that ending thing. And then they could have gone with the whole gold thing where, you know,
I was surprised they
we're
didn't.
all going to get the gold. And Adam Cole, if the championship is relinquished, Adam Cole can go for the NXT championship and win it. Then you can have the Undisputed Era, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. They can go and win the tag championships. Then you're left with Roderick Strong. So what does he do? Does he go for the North American championship or what? I mean,
Well-
they're trying to get all this gold. They're going off of this thing where they want all the gold and they want all the championships. So, I mean, when are you going to let that play out?
You got to do it soon, I would think, because I think that, you know, Adam Cole is close to being ready to come up.
Adam Cole could go up right now.
I agree.
He could go up right now. He's so good on everything. He's good in the ring. He's good on the mic. I've said this so many times. He could go up to the main roster right now. Velveteen Dream could go up to the main roster right now.
Well, and but I think the problem you have on the main roster right now is you have a lot of wrestlers that
They
already,
don't use.
there's a lot of wrestlers already being used.
So, I mean, yeah, but, like, they're so ready. They could go up to the main roster. The only thing that's keeping them back is the fact that they want them down on NXT.
Yes. So that closed out the show. You know, it was...
There was a lot of wrestling tonight. More
Yeah, a lot-
wrestling than I've seen ever on NXT. Ever.
Yeah, definitely.
Ever.
Definitely. It's a good show. If you don't have the WWE Network,
I would totally
I would recommend
advise
getting it.
You get it. Because
It's...
you can see the NXT, NXT UK, 205 Live, stuff like that, you know? That you don't see on USA Network.
And I like watching a lot of the old matches, so...
I do too. I go back and I've watched old Raws over the last several weeks leading up to Royal Rumble just to rewatch them. I don't know. It just felt like it.
Yeah.
So I've done stuff like that, you know. They
So-
have so much on there.
With that, we are going to start wrapping this up. Again, reminder, we stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after
SmackDown.
NXT, and then after all pay-per-views. We will be streaming again this Friday to give our predictions on Fastlane.
Very curious to see how everything plays out there.
Yes. Well, they've kind of thrown some stuff together here in the last minute, so...
I find that very funny that you say that because I was listening to a podcast today on wrestling. Busted Open Radio on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
And I was listening to that this morning, and they were talking about how, dude, Fastlane would have been a trash of a pay-per-view if they hadn't come up with multiple matches literally this week. And I just thought that was funny. Come on. You
watched
watch-
old stuff leading to Royal Rumble to see Becky Lynch, Maven.
Potentially that's a true statement. Potentially. Bendy, you know me too well. Yeah. Yeah. Just to see everything kind of leading leading up to it because I didn't watch it leading up to it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I watched the week before the Rumble, and then I watched the Rumble. And then, you know, I rewatched Becky Lynch winning the Royal Rumble. It was great. I was like, that moment never gets old. You know, just watching her go from, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy going back and watching it. I don't even remember what I was even talking about because I started talking about Becky Lynch. Thanks, Bendy.
Yeah, it's because you, like, blow her mind when you start talking about Becky Lynch.
Thank you.
It's like Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, we were in the car on the way home talking about NXT, and I was like, oh, I have something to say about Becky Lynch. And then I was like, I don't even remember what I talked about NXT. Seriously, what was I talking about? Bendy, why'd you do that, man? I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Good job. So give us a like. Make sure you hit that bell so you know when we're gonna be live. NXT.
I know I was talking about NXT, but I don't. Do you remember what I was saying? Because I don't.
I don't know what you were gonna say.
I don't either, man, and that makes me so mad because I was
Subscribe
like,
to our channel.
I was trying to finish my thought.
We will see you.
Bendy started. Oh, Fastlane. That's what I was talking about, and they were talking about how it was like gonna be a trash pay-per-view until
they threw some stuff
until they
together.
threw matches together this week. I mean, I'll talk more on that on Friday, but I don't know. I was trying to get my thought out there, and then you started talking about Becky Lynch, and then I was like, it just all went disappeared.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the show for tonight.
We will be back
about
Friday to talk about Fastlane, give you our predictions,
all the matches, what we see, what we see happening would go along the lines of prediction.
Yes. Till then, adios, my friends.